Well, apart from what we've seen in terms of the visuals, the rhetoric, Prime Minister Modi and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu signed major deals ranging from agriculture to water conservation and space. So what were those 7 MOUs inked about? Let's get you that.
Unmatched chemistry. From the moment Prime Minister Modi stepped off Air India One, right into a bear hug with his Israeli counterpart. 22 hours later, the first real dividend of the heightened Indo-Israeli friendship, a subtle yet significant joint message to the world's terrormongers from two leaders dealing more with terror today than any other. In a strong statement, the two nations, the biggest victims of terror, announced a new initiative to jointly combat terrorism. This would involve a crackdown on terror mentors and terror sanctuaries.
As such, we must resolutely oppose the evils of terrorism, radicalism, and violence that plague our time.
We also recognize that we are being challenged. We're being challenged by the forces of terror that seeks to undermine our world, our countries, the peace and stability of our common civilization. And we have agreed to cooperate in this area as well.
The other big takeaway, a big boost in joint development of defense products, including technology transfer from Israel with an emphasis on Make in India.
Our goal is to build a relationship that reflects our shared priorities and draws on enduring bonds between our peoples.
A total of 7 agreements were signed after 2 hours of one-to-one and delegation-level meets. These ranged from deals for water conservation to the cleaning of the Ganga to 3 space agreements. With the official talks over, focus now shifts to trade and investment, with top tycoons from both sides set to meet the two prime ministers tomorrow. With Padmaja Joshi in Jerusalem, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, let's get you some of the highlights of the Prime Minister's speech yesterday.
मैं आपसे मेरी बात की शुरुआत इसी कन्फेशन से करना चाहता हूं। वाकई बहुत दिन बाद मिले और दिन भी कहना ठीक नहीं है। सच ये है कि मिलने में कई साल लग गए, 10, 20, 50 नहीं, 70 साल लग गए। भारत आज दुनिया की सबसे तेज गति से विकसित होती अर्थव्यवस्थाओं में से एक है। मेरी सरकार का मंत्र है रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म, ट्रांसफॉर्म।
Now, as this 3-day visit comes to a close, there are questions that are being asked. Was the Prime Minister's Israel visit could be counted as amongst one of his most successful? Has Modi's visit to Israel ended India's strategic hesitation? Importantly, India's strategic hypocrisy. Will this friendship be fruitful? What is fast establishing now a new world order? And should India, Israel have come out openly on Pakistan terror talks? Because let's take a look at the joint statement. It talks about terror but doesn't name Pakistan, without taking any names but clearly hinting at Pakistan. And is Modi's rapport with Netanyahu one of the best that he's had with other world leaders? All right, I'd like to cut across to Adil Singh, Boparai, Congress spokesperson, Shiv Shankar Mukherjee, former diplomat, Gopal Krishna Agrawal, BJP spokesperson. Before we go to our political guests, a quick word from you, Mr. Mukherjee. away from the optics, away from the rhetoric, what do you reckon? How is this 3-day visit going to be perceived? What are our biggest takeaways?
Well, there's absolutely no doubt that, among the many, many visits that Prime Minister Modi has made abroad, and the visit of a Prime Minister to any country is always important, this is probably one of the most important visits he's made abroad. It represents not just rhetoric, that rhetoric was based on a very solid foundation of cooperation that has built up over the years and is now actually being brought totally into the public domain without the, to use a phrase used by Prime Minister Modi, without the historic hesitations of having to balance this relationship with certain geopolitical compulsions connected with the support that India has always given to the Palestinian cause. And this cooperation is based on the solid foundation of need. The cooperation is in areas in which Israel is among world leaders, among the masters of, in agriculture and water management and defense and cyber technology and technology overall, all things which India is very hungry for. The second most significant thing I would say is that it actually provides the political underpinning of an admiration for Israel that has always existed in Indian society, regardless of the fact that there was also support for the hapless Palestinians and their cause as uprooted people from their own land. But this has made it very clear that each stands on its own feet,
right.
That we do not need to hyphenate it or link it, that our diplomacy has been successful.
Right.
And finally, this is an assertion of a kind of independence in foreign policy,
right.
A recognition of realities, which is basically because we have, the single most important criticism that is made is that growing relationship with Israel,
right,
is at the cost of our relationship with the Arab world, which is
right.
also extremely important. But that is now no longer true.
Right.
Given the changes that have taken place, given the relationships, hidden and overt, that the Arab countries themselves have with Israel.
Right.
And this is a completely different India from 1992.
Right. And gone are the days, Mr.
India
Mukherjee.
also brings
right.
things to the
And gone are the days, Mr. Mukherjee, where you could actually say that you're trying to better relations with one country at the cost of another. That doesn't quite exist anymore, and I think we've proven that in the last couple of days. We're going to come right back to you. What we will do is dip it.
If I might just add a sentence.
Yes, Mr. Mukherjee, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, one of the most impressive statements on diplomacy I've ever heard was the one made by Nelson Mandela in America in an interview with Ted Koppel. This was before he became president, but after he was released, when he was asked why South Africa was, why Mandela had visited countries like Libya and Cuba, with which America obviously had very bad relations. And Mandela said something that everyone should remember, which is actually our message to the Arab world also, that, listen, you ask us and you tell us that your enemies must be our enemies, and I reject that.
Right.
This, I think, explains it all.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Mukherjee. Coming right back to you as well. What we will do is, before we go to our political guests, quickly dip in to, what we've done is, yesterday, we've culled out the most important parts of the Prime Minister's speech, and we'd like to play it out there for our viewers. And right after that, we're going to go back to our guests. Listen it.
हम दो देशों के बीच फुल डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशंस को भले 25 साल हुए हो, लेकिन सच्चाई यही है कि भारत और इजराइल कई 100 साल से एक साथ दूसरे के साथ बहुत गहराई से जुड़े हुए हैं। अभी इसी महीने 1 जुलाई से भारत में गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स लागू किया गया है। इससे भारत में वन नेशन, वन टैक्स, वन मार्केट का 1 दशक पुराना जो सपना चल रहा था वो आज साकार हो चुका है। जीएसटी से भारत का आर्थिक एकीकरण हुआ है। जैसे सरदार पटेल ने राज्य रजवाड़ों को मिला करके राजकीय एकीकरण किया था, 2017 में आर्थिक एकीकरण का अभियान सफल हुआ। हमारे त्योहारों में भी एक अद्भुत समानता है। भारत में होली मनती है तो यहां परिम मनाया जाता है। भारत में दिवाली मनाते हैं तो यहां हनुका मनाया जाता है।
One thing is quite clear, that this 3-day visit has marked the end of India's strategic hesitation and at a level even strategic hypocrisy. But where will India go from here on? I want to bring in Gopal Krishna Agrawal from the BJP. Mr. Agrawal, since 1992, India has walked a very tight diplomatic rope when it comes down to Israel vis-a-vis Palestine. Now, the Prime Minister made it clear on 2 accounts that, of course, bettering relationship cannot be at the cost of another country. And on the other hand, even when he was asked, will he move this time around, the capital from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, he said no in that. So how is India going to walk this tightrope?
No, I think this is a very important shift in India's foreign policy. This is assertion of its interest, that India's interests are supreme in bilateral relations, and the world is moving from multilateral relations in which relations are intertwined with different countries to mutual bilateral relations. That's important, and India has recognized. India is also asserting its increasing economic power, and that's very important, that we are looking after our own interests. That's the interest of India is supreme. That's one message that India PM Modi has given with this. And the second important thing was, this is the first time India has openly recognized that Israel is our friend. Israel was always open to relations with India. It had always helped India in the time of need, whether it was 1948, 1962, 1971 or Kargil war. It had always helped India, but India was not reciprocating. This is the time where India has reciprocated, and our mutual interests are immense. There are immense possibility in they have a technology which we can use for India's growth. They need India's market, we need their technology.
Right.
The integration of both can create a good relationship.
All right, let me bring in. All right, let me bring in Mr. All right, all right, Mr. Agrawal, let me also get in Mr. Boparai, spokesperson Congress in this debate. Mr. Boparai, at a time when the world order is fast establishing a new world order there, and this is being seen as one of the most significant moves. Why is the Congress actually pulling back in this respect, linking this with, say, how it's not in tune with the Nehruvian sense of morality when it comes down to foreign policy? What's the connection?
Well, Preeti, let me preface my comments by saying that bear hugs and showmanship alone do not constitute diplomacy. If you really have to assess and gauge the fruits of diplomacy, what you really need to see is hard tangibles, concrete achievements and deliverables which have been achieved from a particular visit or from a particular relationship. Now, having said this, we welcome deeper cooperation and enhancement of ties with Israel. And the genesis of this was in 1950 when we recognized Israel, 62 when they cooperated and helped us during the China War, 71, 92 during the Congress rule when we established full-scale diplomatic relations with Israel. And let me point out a very critical factor for your viewers. In 1990, can you hear me?
Continue.
Hello?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
In 1992, when we established full-scale diplomatic relations, Yeah, I follow you. In 1992, when we established full-scale diplomatic relations with Israel, our trade value, our trade ties and trade value was about $200 million. In 2011, that trade value has increased to $5.1 billion. Hence, for the BJP to say that all of this has started from this visit or post-2014 is grossly unfair and incorrect. The BJP has a habit of distorting history.
But Mr. Boparai, you know what, when you say, all right, Mr. Boparai, I just want to come in. You had your say, sir.
During the UPA, I follow.
Right. You know, I'll just want to come in and we'll come right back to you because you said what's the biggest takeaway?
Yes.
And Mr. Mukherjee, the former diplomat, has pointed out, and so have many others, that the very fact that you know, this is the first Prime Minister's visit to a country marking a strategic shift in foreign diplomacy. That in effect is the biggest takeaway, isn't it? We're going to come right back to you, but let's dip in to what the Prime Minister said yesterday. We continue with this debate.
प्रधानमंत्री नेतन्याहू की एक रुचि हर भारतीय के दिल को छू जाने वाली है और वह है भारतीय भोजन के प्रति उनका प्यार। भोज पर उन्होंने भारतीय भोजन के साथ जो मेरी आवाभगत की, मैं उसे सदैव याद रखूंगा। मैं इजरायल की शौर्यता को प्रणाम करता हूं। उनका ये शौर्य इजरायल के विकास का आधार रहा है। किसी भी देश का विकास, उसका आकार, साइज नहीं, उसके नागरिकों का स्पिरिट, खुद पर भरोसा तय करता है। प्रथम विश्व युद्ध के दौरान इजरायल शहर हाइफा को आजाद कराने में भी भारतीय सैनिकों की अहम भूमिका रही थी। उन वीर शहीदों को श्रद्धांजलि देने के लिए हाइफा जा रहा हूं।
All right, as this three-day visit comes to an end, how should India perceive it? Are there big takeaways involved from this visit, or it was just about optics and rhetoric? We're going to come right back to the last 3 days. We've seen the Indian Prime Minister in Israel. At one end, it is being hailed as a historic landmark visit that marks a complete strategic shift in foreign diplomacy. On the other, there is a set which insists that this is nothing more than rhetoric and optics. I want to go across to Mr. Agarwal, who's joining us from the BJP. We have Adil Singh, Boparai, spokesperson of the Congress, as well as Shiv Shankar Mukherjee, former diplomat. You know, Mr. Agarwal, with what Mr. Boparai was saying, that you're trying to appropriate a foundation that was actually laid by the Congress over decades in forging ties with Israel.
No, if the Congress, we are appropriating that foundation that the Congress led, then why that message did not go to Israel Prime Minister? Why he said that we waited for 70 years for Indian Prime Minister to come to Israel and have friendship with us? That's the message which he has given. Other thing I want to tell is, this 2 days is not the only thing in our bilateral relation with Israel. It's the culmination of the effort which the PMO, Prime Minister, and Indian government has put over the last several months to improve our relations. Several ministers has gone there, several high-level bureaucrats have gone there. There are several agreements which have been signed and which have been worked over, where the issues which are mutually beneficial have been found out, and now we see the agreement. So this 2 days visit of the Prime Minister Modi is a culmination of sincere and concentrated effort of the Modi government in focusing our relations and development with Israel.
Right.
That's the message these visits give. These are the symbol of what we want, what our people want, what the government want, and what message we want to give to the world. It is given a very strong message to Pakistan and to the other part of world that the technology which the Israel has, and the market and the economic power and the democracy which India and Israel has,
Mr. Boparai,
they can become a big power together.
Mr. Agarwal, with your permission, I want to bring in Mr. Boparai. You made your point clear. Mr. Boparai, valid point raised by Mr. Agarwal, spokesperson of the BJP, that if it was a foundation that was laid by, in fact, the Congress. Why wasn't diplomatically it ever conveyed?
Preeti, let me just demolish the assertion of the BJP spokesperson. When Israel helped us in 62 with armaments, when they helped us in 71, when the trade ties have increased from $200 million to $5.1 billion, isn't that a recognition or an acknowledgement of friendship? When our military chief visits Israel in 2014, in March 2014, and their air chief comes to India, isn't that an acknowledgement of deepening of relationships? When we execute defense deal with Israel and they reciprocate, isn't that an acknowledgement of friendship? So for the BJP to say, and this is a fundamental objection which we have, the BJP has a worldview that everything started post 2014, and this is unfortunate. India has a history and India will have a future. India, the foundation was laid in 50 and it is continuing. It's a continuous process. Mr. Mukherjee is there on the panel. He would agree with me that diplomacy is a continuous process. It's an evolving process. Now let me jog your memory slightly. Let me shift the theater. Let me jog your memory to 2014 when the Chinese premier had come to India. The BJP and certain sections of the media had portrayed it that it's a watershed moment and it is never before moment in Indo-China ties, and this has never happened before. What are we witnessing today on our eastern border?
Preeti, one small comment.
All right, very quickly.
There's too much of hype and less substance. There is less.
All right, too much hype, less substance. Mr. Agarwal, very quickly a rebuttal, and then we'll go for a final word to Mr. Mukherjee. Yes.
Yeah.
20 seconds, Mr. Agarwal.
I want to say everything did not start with 2014. Many things stopped with 2014. The issue of policy paralysis, the issue with which there was no clarity in the foreign policy. The problem with Congress is leadership is they don't have a clarity, and when BJP does something,
Mr. Agarwal, you've made your point. Let's try and settle this debate. Let me bring in Mr. Mukherjee, who I'm sure does not want to comment on the politics of it all. But with our relationship with Israel over years, it's been an ongoing process, especially the last decade. We had also seen the visit by the president, which laid the grounds for what we saw in the last 3 days.
Well, let me for once depart from my, usual practice of refusing to get caught up in the, in the politics expressed by domestic spokespersons and concentrate on the diplomatic aspects. But I just want to make one comment. And that as an Indian citizen, I think I'm entitled to do. The statement of the Congress spokesperson and others from the Congress that I saw in print and on the electronic media is basically that this is a successful visit, that they do support it in every way, but that what they object to is basically the BJP trying to take credit for the achievement which actually is of long standing and has continued through various governments, including a number of Congress governments. And I think the BJP naturally is trying to point out that this wouldn't have happened without a very strong and a leader, a strong leader that takes the bull by the horns and is not afraid to strike out in a radical way in support of India's national interest. I think there's a little to be said on both sides. Let's face it, as important as Prime Minister Modi's visit is, as much of a path-breaking exercise it is in terms of clearing away the cobwebs and the hesitation and putting our relationship with Israel and related issues like the Palestinian cause on their own footing, the fact is none of this would have happened but for the far-sighted and equally important decision of a Congress Prime Minister, a very far-sighted Prime Minister called P.V. Narasimha Rao, who actually removed the first most important difficulty in the way by establishing diplomatic relations.
All right, Mr. Mukherjee, that's all the time that we have for. Appreciate you joining us. A quick break. News and updates continue on the other side.